Okay, a little thing I wanted to show you is in the area of proofing your document or your email message here. And what I like to do is show you the spell check, show you the source that we have and so forth, and also how you can go about translating your email message into one of many different languages. So it's pretty interesting set of tools that we have here. So I want to start out first of all by introducing you to this particular document. As you can see, a lot of red underline in here. That's letting us know that we've got mistakes. And I'm sure some of you have already been using, these types of programs, and you will always notice, the red underline. You'll get like a green underline for grammar. You'll get like a blue underline for misused words, in other words, using the wrong word or something like that. So I just kept it simple here, but what you can do though is either correct it on the fly, as you're typing, oh, I made a mistake. You can do a right click on it like that and say, okay, it's really supposed to be complement, or actually it'd be complement, right, on that one. So you can do it like that, but the other way to do it would be to just go in there and say, okay, I'm just going to run the spell check. So if I go back over into the review area, we've got the spelling and grammar. We click onto that. This pops up and we've got all these different things that come in here. So it says, for example, you can add a matching cover page. Okay, so obviously we spelled page wrong there. Now, the only problem is, and this happens a lot, this kind of bugs me, it actually does it gives me suggestions, but none of them are what I need. I just need PAGE. Well, that's okay. What I can actually do here is double click onto that and just type in PAGE, all right? And then just hit change, all right? And then now it'll jump to the next one, all right? Oh, and let me just go back in there again. Sorry about that. I wanted to show you something though while we're there though. Open that message up again here. Sorry. All right. So I wanted to point something out here when we were doing this. One of the things you're going to notice in the background is that I've got a couple areas, and you probably didn't notice it, so now you can take a look at it. I put a couple extra things in here just to kind of point this out. I have on here, I ate T-O much. That should be T-O-O much, right? And over here it says, I are a college student. That's not what it should be, right? So what you need to do, and I don't know if it's just on my machine, I think this is how it's set. If you go, while you're in here, if you go into the options, it takes you back into your editor options for proofing. And one of the things that you want to have on there is mark grammar errors as you type, and also show conveniently or frequently confused words. In other words, you use the wrong word for things, right? So you turn those on, okay, and they will stay on now forever. You hit OK, and now what will happen is you'll see in blue where we're kind of using the wrong words, kind of almost like a grammar error, really, but we're using the wrong words. So at this point, then it'll catch on to those as we're going through here. So anyway, in this situation, then we're up to view here, and it's like, okay, what is it? I guess it'd be that one right there, right? So we'll change that one. And by the way, too, is if you did a lot of misspellings the same way, the same thing, many, many times, instead of it having to stop and stop and stop on each one of them, you can just say change all right? And that way it will do that suggestion, as a replacement for all of them that are spelled exactly that same way, all right? I'm just going to hit change though. And then now we're on the R. I are a college student. It's I am, right? So we say change, just like that. Then it comes back up to the top because we kind of started in the middle. So now we're back up to the top. And now we've got somebody's name here, an A. I just kind of made this up. Well, it turns out that that is her name. It's an A, Angelina. So what we can do here is just add that to the dictionary. And by doing that, it'll never stop on that again. Or we can just tell it to ignore it at this point, or ignore once. And that way it won't be thrown into your dictionary, because it's kind of hard to get things out of your dictionary that you've added. So a lot of people come up. I've had situations where people have come up with a like a spelling, right? And let's just say it's a swear word, okay? And what they'll do is they'll say, okay, add that to the dictionary, right? So then what happens is later on, if they spell some other word that's similar to what that added bad word was, that bad word will come up in the suggestion list, okay? So not a real good thing there, all right? So just kind of watch it when you're adding, words that they're not adding, goofy things, as well. I mean, if it turns out that that's just kind of think ahead and say to yourself, would I ever spell a word later on that same way? And not being somebody's name. Well, if you added that to the dictionary, then it's not going to stop on that word, see? So anyway, so you do what you need to do. But in this case, we're going to tell in this situation, we want to add that to the dictionary, right? So then it skips over that one. Now we're on powerful. We go ahead and change that one. Video, change that one. And then you can add, well, that's the wrong word. It should be ADD, right? So there it is. Change. There we go. Galleries, change. And where is that one hiding? Oh, it's hiding just below there. So to match your new theme, and that's what that is. So we should do theme and hit change. There we go. We got buttons. It'll be that one right there. So we'll change that. And then I ate TO, it should be TOO much. So we'll change that. And there we go. All fixed. All right, now another thing I want to show you is the built-in thesaurus, or the synonym finder, right? And a lot of times when you're writing a document, or writing up your email in this case, you might come across a situation where you want to use a certain word and you can't think of the word. So therefore what you'll do is you'll just type in the closest thing to it, and then you'll use the thesaurus to find that right word, all right? So let's just say that you have this word called prove, all right? And you're sitting there saying you typed that in originally, but you want maybe a different word for this. I don't even know if we can find a different word for this, but we'll see. So what you'll do is you'll kind of point to that word, just like that. You click onto it somewhere, right-click it, and you got synonyms there, right? And instead of prove, it could be show or demonstrate, things like that. So I said, well, I think it might be something where it'd be, maybe demonstrate would be a good word. So I click on demonstrate, and there it is. So it'll help you demonstrate your point. There you go. And then we might have something over here where it says your document. Now, to me, that is a good word, but we'll see what happens with that. So we can do a right click on that, go to the thesaurus, or go to our synonyms there. And we've got things like the text or the file or the article. And it's like, yeah, that's what I want. I want the article. Okay, so to make your article look professionally produced type of thing. So that's not too bad. That's a good little thing there. So you don't want to get too far with that. I mean, and I don't mean this in an insulting way, but don't go through your entire email just to come up with fancy words, finding out that maybe some of the words that you're picking are kind of out of context. They're just not right, but you don't know any better. So the point of the matter is only pick words that you know are right. So that's all I can say with that, all right? So very good on that one. Now another thing that we have with this, I mean, of course I lost it again there. Another thing we have is something called read aloud, which I think is pretty cool. And this allows you to take what you have here in your document, and I'll just do one paragraph here, and select an area, all right? And then you go up here and you say read aloud. Now, I'll make sure my speaker is turned up here so you can hear this. You might get kind of an echo out of it, but you can hear it at least. So I'll click on to read aloud.
Video provides a powerful way to help you demonstrate your point. When you click online video.
Now, I'll pause that, all right? And I'll go over here to the settings, and I can actually slow it up a little bit. And I can also pick a different voice. So I've got Microsoft David, I've got Microsoft Zira, and Microsoft Mark. We used to have a lot more voices. They got rid of most of them. So I'll stick with Zira here, right? I've slowed it down just a little bit, and then I'll go back and hit play again here.
You can paste in the embed code for the video you want to add.
That doesn't sound too good.
To search online for the video that best fits your document.
There you go. So that.
To make your article look professionally produced.
Oh, too far.
Cover page and text box designs that complement each other. For example, you can add a matching cover page, header, and sidebar.
Not bad. All right. Then we can go. I mean, we could have done all the paragraphs, but I can go and select maybe another paragraph like that. Hit the play.
Click insert and then choose the elements you want from the different galleries.
So what it's really allowing you to do is get a sense of what it sounds like, because usually what you're doing is you're kind of reading it to yourself, and you know how that goes. So maybe hearing somebody talk it or speak it will make it easier for you to see if you've actually written that the way that you want it to be, the way that you want to read it the way it sounds, and of course that way you can see if you kind of mess it up a little bit, and then maybe you have to rewrite parts of it. So that's pretty cool. Then last but not least, we have our translator. All right. So what I want to do is I want to select. I'm just going to do this first one right here. Okay. So I'll take that. And up here, and this is also in the review tab, we have this thing called translate. Oop, let me do that. All right. So over here in translate, we click onto that, and I can translate the selected, or translate the item, translate the selected text, or what have you. So in this case, what will happen is if I click on to translate item, it will set this window up here and we'll say, okay, you want to translate it from what to what? Well, in our case, let's say I want to translate it from English to, let's say, German. All right? So I do that, hit OK, and it tells me that it's going to be setting this off to wherever. All right? Hit yes. And there it is. So the whole thing actually gets translated. So that's pretty slick. Now, what you could do is if you wanted to actually use that in your document. Oh, darn! You'll have that text in there. All right. Sorry about that again. All right. So let me go back in there. All right. So there it is. Now, if while you're looking at it, you say, oh, wait a minute, I didn't mean German, I meant, a different language, so you can go back to here, and I mean, you can pick anything. We've got Hindi in there. You'll see that get translated, usually. Yeah, so it's not letting us do that. So, all right, well, what we'll have to do is go back and redo it, but we'll go with what we have here for German. So now what I'll do is I'll take that and we'll select it, right? Right click it, hit copy, right? Then what we can do is we can just close this up like that, takes us back to here, and then what we can do is we can just select our whole area there, right click it, and paste it in there. And now, there it goes. Pretty slick. And it's pretty interesting because then you can go down to here. Oh, we already did that, I think. That's in there. Okay, so there you go. So that's it. So I can get rid of that. Don't really need that in there. There we go. All right, so there we have it. So not bad. it did kind of highlight this for some reason. I can maybe just select that and go back to my message and put no color in there. Well, somehow it got in there. I don't know what happened with that. So let's, I'm going to try this again here. All right, so I just, I paused the video there and I redid the text that we have there, so we can do this again. I want to show you another way we can do this, and that is I'll select the area here again, all right, like that, and then I'll go back into my review. I'll go to translate, but instead of doing it this way, you know, sending it off to who knows where, I'm just going to click on to translate selected text. So I click onto that. I'll see, it's not, that's not what I wanted here. No. Well, I'll do it this way. I'm going to do a right click on it. Click on the translate. Still doing that. Okay, well, whatever. So it does that. Okay, so now that's what I wanted to pop up there. So now this, it comes up this way instead, okay, by doing what I just did there. Now, in this case, what happens is it says English. That's what we've got. We're going to translate into French. I don't want French. So I click on it there, and I find the one I want to translate it into. So maybe I'll pick Icelandic, right? So I do that. And what happens then, a little bit further down, there is the translated text in Icelandic. So if I go all the way down to the bottom there I have insert. I can click on that little drop down and insert it. And what it does is it replaces that which I had selected. So me knowing the language, which I don't, I would go back in there and, you know, put my paragraphs back in, but there it is. That's pretty slick. That's a cool little thing there. So hopefully that comes in handy for you. So especially if you're in the business, maybe you're a global company, it's always kind of nice maybe to send out an email to your customer or whatever in their own language, just to kind of give it, you know, just a sense of whatever, you know, you're communicating in their language. And again, once again, when you get a message back from them and maybe they type it in their language, what do? Well, you can translate that. And the way you would do it is that you would open up their email and then hit reply. And then what you do is you say, okay, now I'm going to take, and the reason why you're hitting reply is so that you can select the text. So then I would go back in there and I would select it like that, all right? And I would do a right click on it, go to translate, hit yes, this opens up, and now we're going to go from Icelandic, which will be what that is there, and we're going to translate that into English, right? So then we go ahead and you'll see it there, all right? And then we'll go back down the bottom here, and we'll insert that in there, and now there you go. So it's pretty good. I mean, it's not going to be 100. It's not going to be like 100% perfect, but it's going to do a really good job at getting that translated from whatever language. So I appreciate you watching the video. Hopefully you can use some of these tools. Take care.